As we've been reporting, President Biden is unveiling a $1.8 trillion proposal aimed at supporting the nation's families. The American Families Plan is the second economic proposal from Mr. Biden as he aims to boost a struggling economy. The first was the American Jobs Plan, part of which is focused on fixing the nation's roads and bridges and creating more affordable housing. But both plans have been criticized for their massive price tags. For more, I'm joined now by Dr. William Darity. He's a professor of public policy as well as African and African American studies at Duke University. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us. So the American Families Plan included extending the child tax credit through 2025, free universal pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, and 2 free years of community college. What are your thoughts on that? And could that help the nation recover economically from the pandemic?
I think it's a dramatic step forward and a major reversal from a period in time in which government has been mobilized to support Wall Street and the wealthiest among us, and a move back towards mobilizing government for the purposes of supporting mainstream and the neediest among us. So from that standpoint, I think it's a very significant and meaningful move in the proper direction for this country. I especially would like to emphasize that these proposals address both the human and the physical infrastructure in America. The human infrastructure from the standpoint of the supports for children and for families, and the physical infrastructure in terms of the resources that are being put aside to restore our highways, bridges, and transport ways.
Are there any parts of this plan that you think don't work or need improvement?
I think that there are dimensions of the plan that could be enhanced and made bolder. And in particular, I think that the plan would be superior if it included such economic rights as a right to employment via a federal job guarantee, or the provision of quality banking services for all Americans through the mechanism of a restored postal banking system or other types of public banking vehicles. This would be a way of eliminating predatory lending, and it would be a way of providing people with credit in a more affordable fashion than we currently do. So those are two major changes that I think would be improvements here. But I'd also like to say that while the bill plays an important role, or while this proposed legislation plays an important role in improving economic conditions for all Americans, and I think that that's exciting to have happen, it doesn't do very much to address racial wealth disparities in the United States, particularly disparities that are associated with gaps in wealth. And I think for us to do that, we need a very different type of initiative, something akin to a plan for reparations for Black Americans who have ancestors who were enslaved in the United States. And I would be very excited if the president would actually establish a commission, a presidential commission, that would take up the task of designing an appropriate reparations program for Black Americans.
Yeah. A lot of your research, I know, Dr. Darity, has focused on inequality by race, ethnicity, and class. So you're saying when you look at both the American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan, you feel that neither one of those proposals goes far enough in promoting equity in the economy. Is that right?
Oh, I think it improves equity in terms of the overall American population, but it does not improve equity in terms of addressing the disparities that exist between Black and white Americans. In particular, the racial wealth gap, which now amounts to approximately $840,000 in net worth between the average Black household and the average white household. Another way to think about this is Black Americans who have ancestors who were enslaved in the United States amount to about 12% of the nation's population, but only possess less than 2% of the nation's wealth. And I don't think that any of the proposals in this existing package, nor proposals that aim at providing general support for all Americans, will do much to try to close that immense gulf in wealth across racial lines.
All right, Dr. William Darity for us. Doctor, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.